Welcome back to the garage, the place where we're making your Bronco, your dream Bronco. Hey, if this is your first time here, I would love to have you subscribe as I am fully restoring this 1974 Ford Bronco. I paid $2,000 for this Bronco and my plan is to restore it, keeping track of every dollar that I spend and all the hours that I put into it. And in the end, selling it to hopefully make a profit. Now, if you are doing a Bronco restoration or you think you're gonna want to do a Bronco restoration in the future, make sure to subscribe to my email list. I'm gonna be putting together some Bronco restoration guides, some PDFs, stuff that you guys can use to help in your Bronco restoration. Now today, what we're working on is disassembly. So what I'm working on first is I'm gonna pull the engine and transmission and transfer case out. But I sprayed PB Blaster on a lot of the bolts that were on the frame. But of course, the engine mounts are giving me a ton of trouble. So I'm not sure what I'll do with that. But basically what I'm gonna do today is just take everything off of this and just try to get it off as quick as possible and then send the frame off to get powder coated. So the issue wasn't that the bolt was stuck, but so on a normal socket it wouldn't go over the bolt and the nut, but on a long socket it wasn't fitting up in that little space where the motor mount was. So I ended up using this guy, and it's just nice because, you know, the bolt can go through the socket and it's pretty low profile, so it just fit up in there. So little tip, if you're stuck on the motor mount, look at something like this. So I've got the engine mounts loose and the cross member loose, but it's still not really moving. And I just noticed, so this is a 3-speed manual transmission. My 75 has the C4 transmission, but I just noticed that this is likely bolted in place. I think this is the clutch for the manual transmission. And so I'll need to pull this out, or at least get it off the body so that the body can move freely. And this would help too. This would be the front drive shaft that I need to pull out. I got the rear one off, but I need to pull the front one off too. Alright, so the engine is out, and for now I'm just gonna set it to the side. I'm not exactly sure on this build what I'm gonna do with the engine. You know, I might go down the road of maybe a Blueprint 306, might just get the stock 302 rebuilt, or, you know, might do something else. And I know a lot of you are sitting there, the ones that aren't gonna be paying for this are sitting there going, dude, put a Coyote in there. You know, this is my first restoration, full restoration. Like, I've done just about everything to my 75. I would love to put a Coyote motor in this thing, but it just, there's so much fabrication, there's so much additional work that goes into, you know, on the frame and stuff like that, that I would rather just bypass and spend my time on other stuff. So I'm gonna go with something that, you know, is a little more plug and play, that fits in my current setup here. And but yeah, so pretty much got the engine transmission out. Now it's time to remove the axles and remove everything else, all the steering components, the suspension, all that stuff, and just throw it to the side so I can get the frame out of here and send it off to be powder coated. If you're doing this, I would recommend using legit jack stands, but unfortunately my jack stands are in use, so I'm using sketchy blocks of wood. My buddy Christian and his wife came to pick up the frame and take it to a shop in Georgia, and this is all that's left. So that's it for day one of my restoration. So the Bronco totals so far: money spent, $2,000 for the Bronco. Hours spent, 4 hours removing the engine and front axle, and then another 2 hours for removing the rear axle and loading it up for powder coating, for a total of 6 hours. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.